Our water problem started when Harare began cutting off the water supply without alerting us. So we would walk long distances to find clean water.
Marjorie Sande manages this public borehole in Mbare, a poor and crowded suburb of Zimbabwe's capital city, Harare. Such sites shorten the distance to clean water, a blessing in a metropolitan area cursed with access problems for years. Water shortages and service interruptions affect the entire metro area, but they're felt most acutely in poor neighborhoods where few residents can afford to spend extra on water. Most residents go to public water points for free or low-cost access. Filling a 20-liter bucket might cost the equivalent of 35 cents US.
The tap water intermittently is not safe for drinking. The treatment plant is old, then it's sitting on Lake Chivero.
Harare's mayor, Jacob Mafume, is talking about the man-made lake that serves as the city's main reservoir. It was created in the 1950s.
The lake was designed for a population of 500,000 people, and the greater Harare population has got 3 million people. So demand has outstripped supply.
Harare's sanitation infrastructure, overseen by the city council, is faulty. Pipes leak, sometimes mixing raw human sewage with drinking water. Purifying the water requires treatment with activated carbon and other chemicals, most of which are imported and costly.
The pumping itself is we can, at maximum level, we should be pumping 1,400 megaliters, but we are normally down to 400 at our maximum because of the chemical issue.
Political feuding also muddies prospects for easy access to clean water in Harare. Mafume says the central government's ruling party, the Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front, or ZANU-PF, won't undertake infrastructure projects that might make political opponents look good. The opposition party Citizens Coalition for Change dominates Harare's local government.
And once the opposition takes credit, it will take over the country because it would have run the cities well. So the issues of politics also converge on issues of water delivered to the residents of Harare.
ZANU-PF did not respond to VOA's repeated attempts to seek comment, to hear its side. But a 2017 report published in the Health and Human Rights Journal supports Mafume's allegation. It found that ZANU-PF leaders cut off funding to cities that did not support the party in the 2005 municipal elections. That forced cutbacks in water purification. Contaminated water was a factor in a 2008 Zimbabwe cholera epidemic that led to over 4,000 deaths. Nonetheless, President Emerson Mnangagwa introduced a borehole plan in early 2022 to improve water access in Zimbabwe. It builds on long-running efforts by local and international aid groups to provide public water sites. UNICEF set up the bush pump that Sande manages.
We always get clean water from the bush pump. It never has a slimy algae that settles at the bottom. A lot of people actually prefer to use bush pumps as opposed to the tap water from the city council.
At the public sites, many transport water containers in cars or wheelbarrows. Those with lesser means carry heavy buckets on their heads and in their hands, sometimes for several kilometers. Women and girls bear another burden: frequent harassment and abuse, including gender-based violence. They complain of sexual innuendo and outright physical attacks. Some men jump the waterline. Others, so-called borehole marshals, illegally take charge of water points. They demand obedience, cash, or sexual favors in exchange for water access. Nokatula Badiseni had a run-in with two marshals after the 19-year-old let an elderly woman go ahead of her at the pump.
One marshal then hit me in the face, and the other guy pushed me and started grabbing my breasts. The marshal then said to me, "You are not going to fetch water at this place today."
At water points, women encounter all sorts of challenges, especially when we go for days without water from the city council. As women, we usually queue early for water so that we can get enough time to prepare our kids for school. But when these men arrive, they disregard the queues and go straight to the front and fetch water. So this causes disputes and unended heated arguments.
Those arguments can devolve into violence. Sande learned firsthand one day, just after the bush pump's operator had locked it up for the night. A handful of men arrived, demanding that he reopen the pump. The frightened operator went to get his keys to the pump, while Sande tried to reason with the men. One was not satisfied with talk.
Before I knew it, he hit me with a metal rod on my hand. I screamed and shouted that my hand was in pain.
Sande was treated at Harare Central Hospital for a fracture to her arm, according to a report filed with the Zimbabwe Republic Police.
Since then, I can't properly use my hand like I used to, even for basic things like household chores. I know I can't do anything about what happened to my hand, but it still pains me to know that the person who did this to me is walking free.
Police reportedly apprehended at least one suspect, but they did not respond to queries about the outcomes of this or other cases. The threats extend beyond the water points. Febitembo and her 3 young daughters ran into trouble early one morning while carrying water to their home in Mavuko, a Harare suburb. A man had followed them from the well. Tembo said that at first he demanded cell phones. When she said they had none, he demanded something more precious, Tembo's 13-year-old child.
He said, "Give me your daughter so that I may show her that I'm a man." I said to him, "You're not taking my daughter." That's when he pulled out a screwdriver and a metal rod. I realized that if he overpowered us, that would be the death of us. As we fought, I managed to grab his privates with my hand in his trousers. That's when he fell to the ground. That's how me and my daughters survived.
Experiences like Tembo's don't surprise Trevor Nyakuja. He's a sexual health rights officer at the adult rape clinic in Harare's Pabiranyatwa Hospital. The clinic's community volunteers have gotten many reports of people being harassed or assaulted while fetching water.
So this sexual assault that takes place is a complex of a lot of things. So it can be as subtle as, if you want water, then you need to give me some form of sexual services.
The clinic treats roughly 120 people a month, Nyakuja says. It provides them with counseling, rape kits, hospital referrals, and legal guidance as needed. But many people who've been accosted do not come forward, says Rutendo Mudavanu. She works with the female empowerment program Shamwari Yamwana Sinkana, which, in the Shona language, means Friends of the Girl Child. Mudavanu says victims are held back by shame, fear of being stigmatized, or simply because they don't know what action to take.
We have these platforms where girls come together. They are capacitated with soft skills, as well as also coming up with solutions to the different challenges that they face on a daily basis that they cannot openly discuss with their parents at home or their guardians at home.
Hers is one of 4 groups behind a community awareness campaign, Say No to Violence Against Women and Girls at Public Water Points, launched in mid-2020. Related to that, Shamwari Yamwana Sikana brings people together to talk about their experiences, to share reporting procedures, and to improve safety measures. They discuss the need to support each other. Bataseni, the young woman attacked by borehole marshals, said she was troubled that no bystanders came to her aid.
The entire time, people around me were just laughing instead of helping me. It really hurt me a lot.
She talked about that in a meeting organized by Shamwari Yamwana Sikana, which promotes intervention and intolerance of bad behavior. The NGO also has recruited male volunteers to aid at water points.
Yes, we are doing what we can to protect the girl child. Our main aim is to fight gender-based violence, so we are already helping people at most of the water's points. So we create separate lines to cater to women and girls when they are fetching water. That way, it reduces the issues of men jumping the queues.
Shamora Yamwana-Sikana and others contend women should have more of a say in the design, management, and location of water points and sanitation facilities.
We would really want a permanent solution to our ordeal, where we can access water from our own taps, from the comfort of our homes.